He's fit. She's fit. Welcome back to another episode with Mr. Whitfit. Today, we're actually going to be talking about fasting. We're going to use the KISS formula, keeping it straightforward and simple. As we had referenced in one of our previous episodes, the chakras, keeping everything balanced in terms of our energy vortexes. Well, fasting is probably one of the fastest ways in order to do that. But humans, for whatever reason, want to complicate things. We, in this modern world, we're too into our heads, which causes other chakras, as a result of stress happening here, to become unbalanced. Now, guided under universal law, we're going to always look to that which is natural in order to restore that which is natural. Do we ever hear animals utilizing techniques of intermittent fasting for the purpose of restoring health and well-being? No, they don't. Animals live in their being, their spirit, their essence. And as we learn to do that as human beings, the concept that's been coined intermittent fasting basically means stop eating too much. You know, whenever I hear the term, I always laugh. Why? Because let's break it down. Intermittent, what does it mean? It means breaking things down in segments. Well, when you're gorging yourself, typically for taste and not for function, you're eating for the wrong purpose to begin with. You eat to refuel the body. Anabolism, catabolism, restoring nutrients that have been depleted. If you're exercising excessively, sometimes your nutritional needs can go up, can go down, depending upon what your objectives are. Which is also true for the human plant when it actually falls out of balance, which the documentary Gita Desai explains very well in Ayurveda Unveiled, how herbs for thousands of years have been utilized in India for the purpose of helping people restore back to their natural state. Oils rubbing into the skin, which I look forward to using myself to restoring that youthful vigor and that youthful glow. As they state in Ayurveda Unveiled, how the skin as we get older begins to dry out as a result of cells slowing down. All this ties into fasting in this particular way. Try a 24-hour fast just to tune into what it is that I'm saying. Because you can't intellectualize this, you got to experience it. Anybody that's ever been hungry, they immediately tune in to their brain. Says, hey, we need some food. Hey, I'm hungry. But often when that happens, people go and get something that stimulates them, not nourishes them. The difference is this: nourishment is going to bring that chakra, those vortexes up. You're going to glow. You are what you eat. You hear that term a lot. Hey, if you're eating the wrong stuff, often people say if you're eating crap, you're going to look like crap, you're going to feel like crap. Or when people eat something that they don't know they shouldn't have, oh man, I feel like crap. Well, what'd you eat? First thing I always say, I even had a client once tell me he forgot what he ate. He looked to his brother. And I said, hey, so what'd you eat? Working with him on losing weight. He looked to his brother and said, what did I have? That immediately told me that he was eating something that he wasn't supposed to. I started laughing. I said, what do you mean? You're a grown man. You don't know what you put in your mouth? And his brother laughed as well. Because food is that deceptive. The subconscious mind is that deceptive. See, fasting, it requires huge discipline in order to do so. So your planet, you're really going to become in tune with how your planet actually functions. And if you do and correct your thought process when you're hungry, some people can't do just water. As I had mentioned in my previous episode, sometimes fasting is just about drinking water. That's it. Other times people are utilizing juice. But your subconscious mind will kick in. That being, that knowingness that we actually have, it'll tell you, I need some protein, because you'll start to have certain cravings. Just as these foods that are high in sugar, when they drop you way down, and you're like, I need some sugar. It's almost like somebody that's addicted to a drug. Oh, I need a hit. Yeah, it's the same thing. So cleansing yourself through fasting. And sometimes we have to wean ourselves off of these things. It doesn't just happen overnight. You know, everybody knows smoking is bad for them, but yet they do it. Why? Because they can't just drop and go cold turkey. It's only a few people that can have that ability to just boom, zone in, be like a laser. Or as I say, be like the sun. Just begin to glow. It's typically a spiritual experience or near-death experiences that cause people to go to that vibrational frequency immediately. But sometimes it's better to go gradually. When I work with people both physically as well as mentally, one of the first things I look at is this person's mental mindset. Are they the aggressive type? Go all in and go for it. Are they more docile? Slowly moving into, or they're somewhere in the middle. Because typically I want to get people to respond based upon their level of comfort moving forward systematically to where their ETA is pretty much what they expected. Estimated time of arrival. Losing weight, gaining muscle, learning specifics behind breathing techniques, often with breathing, which is something untangible until it manifests. And I've had it manifest with people on a physical level. I once had a client by the name of Greg Garland. Hey, Greg, if you're watching my channel, hello. When I come to Arizona, I'm definitely going to stop in and see you. And the reason I was turning my neck this way, I remember when I took him through a series of stretching exercises with breathing. In 2003, when I lived in Arizona, he had been a neurologist. He'd also been to chiropractors. And the chiropractor, he said, was looking at a physical aspect, which they do, which is important. They look at his skeleton. The neurologist looked underneath a little bit deeper. Magnetic resonating, I believe they utilize to see nerve and so forth. See if there's some type of nerve damage to where you can't move, and that was negative, But when I had met Greg, when he was walking on the treadmill, as I often do, I go up and introduce myself to people to see if I could provide a service. He told me about how his neck was tight and his shoulders and what was actually going on with him. And I saw energy, I saw tightness, okay? And he was a big guy. At that particular time, he was like 16 pounds. Or more overweight, but in the 2-month period that I actually worked with him, he actually lost 16 pounds, and he lost, I believe it was like 3 to 4 inches off of his waist. I say that to mention this in terms of fasting and how I applied a physical regimen to help him with both. The yoga that I got him into and the breathing cause his palate to change. Because when we oxygenate our blood, which is a very important nutrient, you always hear about water, but many people talk about oxygen. Water is 2-part hydrogen and 1-part oxygen. So when we put it in, it's evaporating anyway, going to the different places where it needs to go. Teaching them the breathing techniques, along with movement, postures, allowed him to get to a point to where he was able to tune in to his self, his being. And what we were unraveling was a level of tightness that didn't even show up. Okay? Often when, your car runs hot, if you continue ignoring it, okay, something's gonna pop. The hose typically. Well, in the human body, we can measure blood pressure. But in yoga, they often refer to prana, which it's something in the Western mindset I don't think some have accepted, but others haven't, because you even hear doctors talk about it now. But I can explain it best by saying it's an energy vortex that is us, but yet separate of us. You say, wow, what does that mean? Well, Jesus walked on water, right? Either you believe that or you don't. I know some of you out there saying, no, he ain't walking on water, man. But did man go to the moon? Okay, if you want to go to science. I don't know. Some people believe he did. Some people believe that he didn't. Point being is that we actually have a mindset or a philosophy to move forward, guided under universal law. Electrolysis. What's the process of that? Taking water, putting it into a tube, turn it into gas, and turn it back into water on the other side. Well, transformation is what I'm talking about. And based upon your level of perception can determine your level of reality. You know, years before YouTube, one thing that I did, as well as Tito DeGrandis here on my t-shirt, we had both squat 315 pounds for 20 reps. You say, why do I mention that? Well, we did it naturally to see if we could do it, for one. The reason I have him pushing this rock, it's referring to energy, force, power, essence, resistance, acceptance, moving forward. 315 for 20 is equivalent to 6,300 pounds in one set. You know, squat was the exercise we did. Full, deep, knee bend squat with 315 pounds on our back. And that was an experience, wow, that very few people will ever experience. You know, it's sort of like going to outer space because our minds went to a different place, much like fasting. And interestingly, we began to eat different types of foods and desire different types of foods. As we got stronger, our bodies were operating more efficiently. For example, the gym that we were working out at the time, this was years ago, was not too far from a Denny's, okay? And even though we would go to Denny's, which is not necessarily a health food nutritional store, we would order vegetables, steamed. We would order chicken breast. And I remember prior to us ordering chicken breast skinless, we started to remove the fried chicken, which is one of their meals that they give you at Denny's, or give me a number 5 or whatever it was. We started to take the skin off. Our subconscious knew that the skin being fried was not going to be conducive to the efficiency of us moving through the second and third chakra. We didn't have to question that. Our bodies told us that. Well, now going back to fasting, if you can tune in, and it's not easy to tune in because we're talking about thought, and most of us are preoccupied from the time that we wake up in the morning to the time we go to bed at night. But how many of us spend time meditating? You know, getting in tune with self, getting in tune with nature. And the reason I liken the animal kingdom in this, because animal kingdoms, they don't have this portion of the brain where they have to worry about and be concerned about things. When a lion sees some food, a gazelle, he goes after it. That's part of the laws of the universe. And the gazelle is getting on, he's stepping. And I look forward to running sprints out there for you guys too. Because you never know. When you may have to, get away from danger. That's one other aspect behind being in great shape. All this tying in, I know that there are multiple people out there that need different things. And fortunately, with having trained, well over 1,200 people on a one-to-one, years before the internet. And at some point, I know I'm going to find a young stud who wants to go 315 for 20, okay, PED free, only for the purpose of showing you what's possible. Tito keep telling me, hey man, let's do it again. I'm like, Dad, hey, step 1, we're going to finish Ashtanga Yoga primary series and knock that down efficiently before we think about going in the direction of structure. We're going to virtue to the outer limits of our galaxy first. As Captain Kirk would say, virtually go where no man has gone before. Always wishing you wealth, through health. Take care.